So welcome everyone to the WebClient launch webinar, and many thanks for joining us today. My name is Franz Schubert. I'm taking care of corporate business development here at Ultimus, and I've got Joachim Haas here as well with me, who leads product management at Ultimus. Both of us are very excited to introduce the Ultimus WebClient to you, but we are even more excited to also introduce the Ultimus Advanced Task Service, which is also part of the solution. Together, both components are not only a major step forward for Ultimus, but also a real innovation in the BPM market and web-based solutions in general. We can now think about solutions that have not been possible before, and this new solution also perceive it as a platform for delivering custom solutions in a very secure, well-performing and easy to maintain fashion. With this technology in hands, you'll be able to deliver innovation now and also in the years to come. I hope you're excited as we are. Now let's look at what we'll cover in the webinar today. First, we start off with the Ultimus WebClient and Task Service architecture. I would like to provide you with a quick overview of what the architecture looks like so you fully understand of what we'll be talking about. Then I'll go into the functionality and the benefits of both components, and we'll also make sure that we cover a real value that we provide and the solution provides to you in real deployments. Joachim will then take over and focus on the details of the technology and also the features, making sure that you understand what the technology looks like in more detail, and also provide you with a real-life demo of the product so you understand what it looks like and how it behaves like in reality if you actually really use it. And at the end we'll have question and answers, so question and answer session. In the GoToMeeting pane there is a question box. If you type in the questions in there, we'll get back to them at the end of the session and make sure that we answer them. So if we look at the WebClient and Ultimus Advanced Task Service architecture, and Joachim probably can make the whole slide appear, so also with the other components. You will see that we actually decoupled the clients from the server, and we introduced a new layer called the Ultimus Advanced Task Service. The main responsibility of the Ultimus Advanced Task Service is to aggregate information from different sources and efficiently transfer it over to the Ultimus WebClient and also to the end user devices in that way. There are a couple of benefits of the Ultimus Advanced Service that you can already see in the box, which is that you can deploy it on the same machine as the BPM server, but you can also deploy it on load balancing or cloud environment. So you've got great flexibility in that area. Another great advantage of the Ultimus Task Service architecture is that you can consume information from different BPM servers. So from either different equivalent BPM servers, from different versions of the Ultimus BPM server, so version 7, version 8, or even physical or virtual locations, different physical or virtual locations of the BPM server. And display every task in a single unified task list. Another great advantage of the Ultimus Advanced Task Service is it to consume external data or internal data. Internal data like from a CRM system or a content management system or other sources, and from external like, for example, web services can go out and capture information like currency conversion rates or stock prices or something equivalent. And you can also add functionality like device and location awareness. So the web client and the task list that is presented to the end user can be customized to the device or the location of the person using the solution. Once everything is transferred to the Ultimus WebClient, as you can see above, we enable customers to see and interact with processes through all main browsers and on basically any device. What we try to do is to make it very, very convenient, very independent, very flexible for our customers to make sure that the solutions are very well perceived by end users and can easily be maintained and deployed in the way that the customers want. If we look at the benefits, we'll start off with the end user benefits. So what the end user sees that interacts with the processes. So first of all, the greatest advantage definitely is speed. So if you take the Ultimus Advanced Task Service architecture, the aggregating of information like the BPM tasks, also external information like CRM, web, and so on, you can use the backbone of your enterprise IT and aggregate that information and very efficiently transfer it over to mobile devices. That makes great user experience. People like to interact with devices that have very short response rates, and that creates a great value proposition for the end user. Another area of advantage is the flexibility. So being able to use different devices, your own device, your preferred device, the device you're used to in working in your environment. And we've heard from many customers that they are thinking about or have already deployed iPads to their sales teams or other teams, and we definitely want to support solutions based on Ultimus to be accessible from an iPad and interact with it and take the advantages that the business people see within these devices. And the third area is definitely the user experience. So we redesigned the client, made it look very contemporary in terms of the way it looks, but also the way it behaves. So if you look at the different folders or the task interaction and many other areas, you will see that we'll have scrolling bounce back. So if you come to the end of the list, it bounces, makes it very similar to a iPad experience, user experience. Also, you can drag and drop process incidents, and you can also customize your task list the way you want. And localization, showing the client in your language is definitely one of the great advantages, because that's very, very easy. We already had that in the previous or in the other clients, but now it's even easier to add customization. If we take a look from the IT perspective, or let's say from the provider perspective, well, the greatest advantage here, I would say, is the manageability. So you don't have to download anything for running the client. You also don't have any prerequisites like Adobe Flash or Microsoft Silverlight. So you're really capable of running this without taking too many things into consideration. The only one right now might be the form prerequisites, and Joachim will be speaking about that later on. If you try to support your business people with the environment they prefer and they work in, and you want to add flexibility in making enterprise-wide decisions on what technologies to use and what devices to use, that's something that we added to our high priority list, and we actually are very proud that we can present this in a very, very nice way. So the interaction, our goal is to make customers use our technology on any device, on any browser, and the main browsers are supported, and make sure that they can interact in the processes the way they want. And the third area are use cases, new use cases that we haven't even thought of before, where you can have multiple BPM servers or multiple UATS, so the Ultimus Advanced Task Services, on different machines and so on. And I go into detail on that on the following slide. The greatest advantage in this area is that you can actually reduce the cost, you can increase security, and optimize IT infrastructure. So if we look at the use cases, there are basically three different use cases. It starts with the aggregating and streaming of data and transferring that over to the client very intelligently. So what you can do is you can aggregate information on the, as you can see with the dots on the left-hand side, the UATS can aggregate it and transfer it and streams it over to the client That works very well for mobile solutions, but also for task lists that have thousands of tasks in them. So, very, very heavy front-end solutions in terms of task lists. Another area of use case is just waiting for it to appear, separating production environments. So if you have, for example, a mission-critical environment where you have a very important process running load balancing environment, for example, and then you also have standard processes running in your company, what you can do is you can separate these production environments and make sure that any maintenance work carried out on standard processes don't actually impact and cannot impact the mission-critical processes. Making sure that you can really separate these environments, get rid of the risk, eliminate the cost of maintaining both solutions on mission-critical environments, and taking many more advantages with you. The same is, for example, for security. If you've got very high security requirements, then you can create two separate production environments, maintain them by different teams, set them up in different environments, and allow all these tasks from both areas to be aggregated and consumed by the Ultimus Advanced Task Service and displayed on a single task list in an environment. And the third area is where you would have different UATS, different Ultimus Advanced Task Service, and you would use it for example, distributing task delivery to different areas. You could think of cloud environments where you would have a large public environment accessing tasks and having the UATS in the cloud, and then for internal applications having a different UATS within the company, or allowing for different devices to access different task lists and different UATS. So there are many ways of using both technologies together, combined, and they provide great benefits in whatever configuration you need. And I'm more than happy to have discussions, and I guess that also our account managers have discussions with you on how we can help you deploy a solution that really best fits your needs. Having that said, I would now like to hand over to Joachim to go more into the specifics of the technology and also show you the real-life web client.
Thanks a lot, Franz. So to introduce the more technical area and the more features and functions area, I'll come back to the original slide Franz already introduced in the beginning, where you see the BPM servers in the bottom, the Advanced Task Service in the middle, and the Ultimus WebClient on the top area. And I want to highlight some of those details, especially what are the different components communicating and what is the reason for those components. You all know the Ultimus BPM servers hosting and managing the tasks. And with the introduction of the Ultimus Advanced Task Service, we are extracting the process data from those Ultimus BPM servers and convert and store them, this extracted data, in a internal structure and cache this data for extreme fast retrieval. So all requests from client side are going against this Ultimus Advanced Task Service and are decoupled from the original BPM servers. To display the data or to combine the data, we introduced the Ultimus aliases. In this case, aliases for column information. So in each column of your task list, you can see information from different sources, either from different processes or different process versions, but also from external sources like customer relationship management, or on the right side, some stock information, what you need to show within your task list. On the web client side, the task service streams the task list information to the browser. So you already, when you open the clients, you already see the first set of data, and step by step, the data, additional data is streamed to your client. So you see the task data is pushed automatically to the client. You don't need to refresh. You don't need to ask, where do I have something new? No, it is auto-refresh, and everything what you have in your task list is also shown in your web client. So how does the web client look like? I've created a small screenshot, and here you see the different areas. And in fact, it's the web client to handle Ultimus tasks. So everything you can do with your Ultimus tasks in your existing client, you can do with your new Ultimus web client. Open view, disown, assign, showing the task status. All these things are possible through this new interface as well. And something more. What is new? You know the Ultimus views, in this case the Ultimus standard views with inbox, initiate, but also complete and assign view. And these views contain all the Ultimus tasks which are assigned to this user. This is as before, so everything what a user can work on is shown in those views. But in addition, we created Ultimus folders, custom folders, which contain a copy of those Ultimus tasks to be organized and handled in a more user-convenient way. So you can organize tasks from different sources, from different types, or with different data, and combine them and organize them as you need, and do not need to take care whether this task belongs to a group or to a certain process type, whether it is old or new. Simply organize those tasks as you want. And to organize these tasks, you can either create automated rules, which copy those tasks automatically into these folders based on certain criteria, process name, process data, or you simply drag and drop the process, your tasks into those folders if you want to manipulate those tasks manually in this way. So in the end, you will work on your folders, and these folders can be configured in a way that all the information that you need are displayed in a very convenient way. So talking about configuration, on folder level and also on view level, you can select column sets. We name this column set templates, and these templates have a list of aliases which can be selected or deselected. So selecting such a template, you will simply go into a template list, select the template you want to use, and then when you selected this template, you can select or deselect those columns you would like to see or you don't want to see. So the idea is that those columns, or better said, these aliases, are centrally configured on in a UTS administrator, and a UTS administrator person can define which process information to be shown in which of those columns. And the end user does not need to bother whether the data model is complicated, whether he's allowed to see something or not. So this is something which is centrally configured, and the end user simply selects a template, he can select his columns, and he can work with those views and folders. So for the theory, now looking into the client itself. Okay, starting the client. I'm using Ultimus Firefox, not Ultimus Firefox, it's not on this level, the Mozilla Firefox for it. The system logs in. And the first thing you see is the inbox with all the tasks the user has. In my case, I have 21 tasks assigned to me, and those tasks are presented right away. So, as said, the Ultimus Web Client is a web client for Ultimus task lists, and it will be the one client for Ultimus task lists in the future. So, all existing clients, like the standard client, the thin client, but also Ultimus Flowport, will be replaced in the future by this task list, by this web client. And the good thing is it can be configured to run smoothly on these different environments, but having one core source core base in the back. When you see, for example, in the completed view, here we are talking about 21 pages. You can already start working on these 21 pages. And in the back, you see on the left side the increasing number behind the completed name. Step by step, the data is loaded on your client. So even if you have a huge task list, you can already start working on your task and do not need to wait that the full task list is loaded, which makes it very fast and nice to use, even in larger environments with lots of columns and lots of tasks to be displayed. As I said, we can configure the task list in a certain way. I don't want to mess up my view in the moment here, so I simply keep the data. But you see, where is it here? You can see the different columns that I'm able to select, and I also can use here the filter functionality in the bottom, for example, going here on the summary fields, and for example, I want to search for the bearing, and all the tasks which have a summary with bearing are displayed right away across all these 1025 incidents. For sure, you can use your process, your task list for normal work. Simply open, and you see the Ultimus form being opened. And here you can use your standard features like sending a form, returning a form, confer the form to another user, but also the attachment and memo functionality. So this is as you know it and as you are used to it. So assigning tasks, deleting tasks. So the column definition we already covered. So as said, on the left side we have the standard views and the folders, and the configuration of those folders is also very easily. You simply say, I want to create a new folder. You say the folder name, new folder. I create it, and then I have a new folder in my list, and then I can go into in another folder. And for example, here those two purchase requests, I simply drag and drop this purchase request into this new folder, and I see it right away in my folder list. Screen is not refreshing properly here. So managing your tasks in this way is very easy. Additional features like rule handling, but also absence handling is done by a rules editor. And this rules editor covers both areas, both the rules for folder handling, but also the rules for task assignments, either in case of absence, holidays, but also based on process name and process data in certain cases. So finally, you can share your folder, you can export task lists, you can delete a folder. So these are the basic features and functions the Ultimus client has, and this is also our goal, to make it easy to use, not too complicated to configure, only a few things, so that the end user can focus on his work. It does not need to think about data model, which information do I have in which process. No, simply select a template, select the aliases, and use it. So coming back to my presentation. What is included in version 1.0, which was released on the 1st of October? You saw the full-featured zero footprint Ultimus WebClient. This is part of this version 1.0. In addition, in the back, the Ultimus Advanced Task Service and a Ultimus Advanced Task Service administrator to configure the columns, the templates, but also we have a role-based user concept, which means that certain user roles have certain rights, and these things are configured in the Ultimus Advanced Task Service Administrator. All this is part of this version 1.0. And to run this Ultimus Advanced Task List, you need a Windows Server 2008 R2, and in the back a SQL Server 2008 R2. It runs in the moment against Ultimus 8.3 Service Pack 1. The release candidate for this is already available. Saying that the database version for Ultimus Advanced Task Service is SQL Server 2008 R2 does not mean that the BPM server in the back needs to run on this version. It can run on Oracle, it can run on the older versions of SQL Server. This restriction here, or this prerequisite, is only related to the Ultimus Advanced Task Service. The supported form types: standard forms, converted form, custom forms. For standard forms, for sure, we have the prerequisite that these forms run on Internet Explorer, and the form control components need to be installed. So in this case, also the Ultimus WebClient needs to run on Internet Explorer. Now you will ask, what about localization? The WebClient is fully localized, and the translation is already done for those mentioned languages. And in preparation are, in addition, Chinese, the simplified Chinese, but also Italian and Portuguese, which will be available in the next days. So talking about version 1.0, what is next? Version 1.1 in November the 15th will support Ultimus 7.2 CP1, still UITS on SQL Server, and then with version 2.0, the Ultimus Advanced Task Service will also support Oracle 11G. It will replace Ultimus Flow ports, and it will have improvements and adjustments for mobile devices. And we are improving the Ultimus Web-based Advanced Task Service Administrator also step by step. So you see from the release dates, 1st of October, 15th of November, 4th of February next year, we are using an agile development approach with short release cycles so that the new features and functions are available for you very quickly. Then, later in 2013, we are planning Ultimus WebClient and UITS version 3. This will support the new Ultimus Web Forms, which will be generated by new Ultimus Web Forms Designer. Details of this will be shared later. Putting those numbers into a roadmap, I don't want to talk about each and every thing in detail, but you see we have blocks which have dependencies, and so these dependent components will also be released in combination. So 1st of October, we had the release of Ultimus WebClient 1.0. The 15th of November, we are releasing Ultimus WebClient 1.1 with Ultimus Advanced Task Service 1.1, plus the CP1 and SP1 of 8.3 and 7.2. And then in February next year, the WebClient 2.0 will be released in combination with Ultimus 8.3 SP2. Then, as said, we are working on Ultimus Advanced Task Service 3.0 and a new web form designer, and the release dates need to be scheduled, so please stay tuned for updates in this area. The future plans for 2014 also will be shared in later sessions. Just to let you know that we are still planning a Ultimus BPM speed 8 updates each half a year. So also here, 2014 will have two releases, one in the first part of the year and the other one in the second half of the year. That was it from my side. So I give back to Franz. Please take over.
So many thanks, Joachim, for this great overview and the live demo. Now the question is how you can access the solution and to deploy a solution with the new web client. We've been thinking about this a lot and discussed how we can improve and provide you with a great experience when deploying and getting access to this technology very fast. What we decide is, first of all, introduce you to this technology in the webinar, which you're currently participating in. The next step is would be to really have a very personal discussion on what your goals are in terms of the solution you want to deploy, the use cases, introduce to you the use cases in detail, and then come up with a solution that is very specific to your needs, and let you know how we can support it with the current technology, or if we need to wait a little while, when you'll be able to be supported in the specific custom environment that you are trying to deploy. What we'll then do is this, and that's what also something we decide, is to shortcut the learning curve, implement the solution for you, administer it, so to transfer the knowledge over in a very short, very efficient way, so you can run and deploy the solution in your environment as quickly as possible, and by that save time, reduce risk, and also work with the new solution as quickly as possible.